It's time to take it to the Omega level. Hey, thank you for clicking on the video here with the Omega level nerds. Don, J-Onehundred with you. And of course, we don't have X-Men 97 to talk about. It's a week. It's on Wednesday as we record this, so don't get to watch that today. But you know what? I actually don't have any sort of a hangover or just because they stuck the landing, and that's what everybody else is saying, Jay. They're saying they stuck the landing. You look at Rotten Tomatoes, 100% on the tomato meter there, 95% audience score. So it actually feels good. I don't know how you feeling about it.
Yeah, man, it sucks. It's sad. I mean, now I gotta like force myself to find stuff to watch. Um, just to well, I probably do need to go back and give some things a second look. Maybe find some new stuff. Experiment,
Yeah,
explore a little bit. But X-Men '97 was really good. Um, it has at least had me look into their history,
yeah,
comic books and whatnot. So I feel nerdagized, and I can't wait for season 2.
yeah. I mean, a lot of questions in the air as far as Bo DeMayo's involvement and how that all goes. But absolutely, with you not being a traditional comic X-Men fan, experiencing this show and now being an X-Men fan, I mean, I just can't ask for more. So that's the cherry, on top. Magnifique.
Right.
But
And
so hey,
not to kind of spoil later, but
sure,
I was willing to go back and watch the rest of the others to understand what was going on in the
yeah,
show. I was willing to do that, you know what I mean? So to get the most out of it, but yeah, we'll talk about that later.
right. But so great. Now we get to kind of do a couple, a news item here, maybe some others, but let's just really the big thing is, and this has been on my mind for a little bit, but we just haven't really had the time to discuss this because we both love video games, you and I. That's, definitely another mesh point that we have a big hobby of ours. Um, but, now we've got places like the Washington Post and Game Informer and Variety that's really talking about what I'm referring to as the video game crash 2.0. Obviously, not as extensive as the actual video game crash that happened in the early 80s. But, we don't have companies going bankrupt, but we do have companies that bought a lot of other companies, a lot of other studios, and then now we're laying off people. And when you think of video games, it's not a dying industry. It's not, you wouldn't think it's dying, like newspapers, newspaper media, but yet these layoffs are at those levels, right? Like just as many people are being laid off for newspapers as are for, video game companies and video game development. And that's really striking. Um, but yeah, I mean, we've got places that, Unity software, that's a big game engine, that's used. So we're talking about the technology itself. In January, laying off 1,800 people. Twitch in January laid off 500 people. But of course, once you make your streaming platform basically hot tub stream central, I mean, what do you think's going to happen? But nonetheless, um, Microsoft 1,900 laid off in January, and that's a big one, right? Because Microsoft, ate up a lot of these, studios, and then, obviously as corporate does corporate shit, restructuring, cost, reducing, and we see how they're doing that. In February, Sony 900 people laid off. Electric Arts 670. I mean, that's Electric Arts, the master of the microtransactions, and still they're laying people off. So I don't know. It just makes me wonder, though, in a somewhat okay, maybe it's not a growing industry, but definitely a relevant industry. What's going on? That's kind of the question I had when looking into this.
Well, I mean, to me, we can pinpoint a lot of pain points that
Hmm.
we as consumers have with these companies to lay out why they probably are quote unquote struggling. Um, and if I hadn't been a part of a few different restructures, being restructured myself, coming into a company that's restructuring, all that kind of stuff like that. And then now finding a place that like I really think that outside of some entrepreneurship or something like that, like I
Mm-hmm.
think I really found the place where I'm gonna be at until I retire. Hearing how they had to restructure from like the company man point of view, like looking at it as like being part of the company, knowing not having to worry about being part of that layoff, because you're good. Looking at it that way point of view,
Mm-hmm.
um, I understand why they did some of the things that they did, or had to do some of the things that they had to do as a
Yeah.
company. And so, if you are one of those people who are not bothered by the layoff, I'm pretty sure then you're privy to a lot of the you know, inner structure of why that needs to happen, what's happening, what trends are going down, where they may be overspending money, underspending money, things like that. You got to regroup, you got to adjust, you have to adapt, or you're not going to survive. Especially if for any employees that are going to stay, or any new employees that are going to be coming in, want a sound and uh, solvent company to work
Mm-hmm.
for. In order to do that, sometimes you got to make some moves and adjust. So, I don't think that there is a um um external problem that is leading to their internal restructuring. I think that they are moving past the COVID level, because you got to think. I was talking to this with my girl when I was taking a look at the what we were talking about today, and it's one of those situations where it's like um, there's so many games that I need to buy right now, that even if I hadn't had things in my life personally set me back a little bit where I had to be frugal, but I still wouldn't have all of them if I was good. You know what I'm saying? And so the influx of niche games, and this is just niche games I'm talking about. I'm talking
Yeah.
about Super Mario RPG, got to get that. Pixel Mirror, I got to get that. Rebirth, I got to get that.
Right.
Advance Wars, I got to get that. Front Mission remake on the Switch, I got to get that. That's just off the dome. If I were to sit there and go through catalog, I'll probably give you
Yeah.
10, 15, 20 more. If I'm going to purchase those things, I just listed off almost $1,000 worth of games that I'm probably only going to beat one, and then keep playing that one over and over again for the next 2 years till I create another 20 game backlog. You know what I mean? So, um, and then on top of that, those games are costing $1 billion, damn near. It's unsustainable, and on top of that, that isn't the taste a lot of the gamers have. Like, yes, you're gonna have to have your AAA, uh, b- uh, you know, graphics so good you can see the pores of the skin type of level of stuff. But realistically, you can get away with a. Here's an ad right here: Paper Mario coming out uh, in 2 days.
The big one.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that didn't cost $500 million. And it's gonna cost $70, but
Yeah.
that's the other thing. So the other point that the other point to kind of segue into to how you're feeling about it, or if you have any other thoughts, would be that this is one of the big arguments that I had in my Final Fantasy community when I first started streaming, is when we had the conversation about how Final Fantasy Remake was going to be episodic. So the issue that they had was, oh, it's a money grab, it's a money grab, it's a money grab, it's a money grab, it's a money grab. Do you want to play a Final Fantasy remake? Then you have to buy stuff in order. You see what I'm saying? That's the other part about this. This is the system that you guys want to continue to have. So I don't want to belittle anybody. I'm not trying to sound condescending, but you kind of got to understand how it works,
Yeah.
right? And the main thing is no matter however the system is screwing you over financially, you have to participate and consume or everything else falls apart. You're the most important yet least important part of this system at the same time. So it's
Sadly.
also one of those things that not trying to make this a economic lesson or anything like that, but saying that this the system that you want on the opposite end of that, it's the same system that's making you broke, so you can't even afford them even if you wanted to, which ultimately is the real issue. We don't have time and we don't have money. And so these game companies are going to have to figure out how to do what they need to do and make the level of profit that they're looking to make, or stay at a level that they need to maintain, or whether that be income wise, whether that be personnel wise, whether that be game title wise, things such as that. That you know, this is my call to the system. Hey, we want to play some games. We want to consume. We all want to consume. So make it easier for us to consume, considering we make all your shit, or I'm gonna take it. I'm just putting it out there. I'm gonna take it. Cause how else am I even gonna be able to eat, let alone buy Pixel Remaster? Because I need to play Final Fantasy 6 again, and you playing with me right now. You feel me? So this is ultimately, like what I see. I definitely understand where these companies are coming from. I definitely understand all the external um um issues that we have with these companies that we are basically forced to deal with when it comes to us wanting to do our part. But ultimately, what the issue is outside of them and their layoffs, because I feel terrible for these thousands of employees that are going to be laid off. But
Hmm.
if you're as educated and talented and productive as you were at these other places, that needed to do what they needed to do, either find your way through until they open back up again, or like you were saying earlier, Nintendo hit them up. They've been
Yeah.
around for a long time.
Yeah. And they are not on the list
Been
of
around,
people that are, laying anybody off. You
right?
mentioned, Paper Mario, which is, a big thing. It's a first party Nintendo game, and first party Nintendo games are always quality. I mean, they're not always like the most realistic looking games out there, but as far as quality and working and gameplay are always top notch. And the values of the game themselves, like if you want to go buy Mario Kart 8, you're still paying, even for a used copy, probably $50. Um,
Oh yeah,
Anything
oh
first
yeah.
party Nintendo holds its
It's still
value.
60 bucks on the store. That's why I ain't got it.
Yeah.
Mara
Um,
has it, but I don't.
Right, right on. Great game, by the way. I mean, and I personally, I have a PlayStation 5, I have a PC. I bought my PlayStation 5 just for Final Fantasy Rebirth because it is a put up or shut up thing. Like, do I want to be a part of it or no? And obviously, I checked yes. But yeah, the family, we all have a Switch, and yeah, anytime Mario Party, Mario Kart, any, all of that shit is just Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is awesome, by the way. That's the reason pretty much the reason I
Yeah, I've
bought
been
the
thinking about
Switch.
getting that one too.
Um Super awesome shit. So if you're affected, try to make your way to Nintendo. And if maybe not today, just keep that resume brushed off and keep trying to get in there because, you know, console war, right? We always hear about the console wars. Man, the console war has been over for decades at this point. Nintendo has won a long time ago. They're pretty much the reason we came out of the actual video game crash, of the early 80s is because Nintendo, a Japanese company, successfully marketed their Nintendo Entertainment System to America and it took off like wildfire. Mario, Zelda, all that crap, man, brought us all from the brink of, all the crap we had to deal with. And when I say we, because I'm like 5 years old when a Nintendo comes out. So like I don't know if I'm using the proper vernacular. But anyway, Nintendo though
Well, it's
brought
close
us
enough.
out.
I
Yeah.
wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't too far. I think I was one,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
if not
Exactly.
right about to be born, one of the
Um.
two. So I'm there too. I feel
Yeah.
you on that one. And speaking of the console wars or whatever, like all that was just marketing.
Yeah.
Realistically, what it was is, especially when we think about this, like for the most part, not, most people's parents weren't like my parents. Well, actually, I take that back. I'm pretty sure a lot of people's parents were like my parents, but um, realistically, the consoles are not that expensive. And the only reason why parents didn't want to spend a couple $100 is because they didn't want to spend a couple $100 on their kids. Let's just be real about that.
Right.
Um, and you could get multiple of them or all of them if you really wanted to. And then looking back at it, most of them all had the same game, if not sometimes switched, by different developers or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't really a war in the first place. It was just a marketing tactic to ramp up, the sales or whatnot, which is cool. But I remember talking about I think it was we were talking about Final Fantasy sales a while back, and who fucking cares realistically? Like to sit here. So if we're gonna go based off of sales, then anything past 2015 is a terrible game, I guess. Then right? No, we have context,
Right.
and we know, and that's why the context is important to understand about what's going on with these games and these game companies. Which then, for people that would be or do complain about the games, like because you got to think about it, if I'm going to spend, and this is how I was moving, if I'm going to spend however many hours a day, however many hours a week trying to keep up on Destiny, then you better do what the fuck I want on Destiny, or I ain't gonna play
Right.
that shit.
Yeah.
And it it lost me. It had me for years, and then it kind of lost me. I had to do way too much in order to, kind of just do the daily, keep up with the daily or whatnot, right?
Yeah. Grinding like that. Yeah.
Some people want to do that, and I'm not knocking Destiny. I'm just speaking for myself personally. Destiny 2 is doing, I mean, it's falling, it's dying, but like it's doing all right for how old it is and where it is and blah 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 blah. So with all that said, like, you know the industry has to adapt to the consumers. The consumers have to adapt to the system that they continue to keep in place. So we got to be logical about how to proceed. And realistically, I know they got a lot of new games coming out there, and that's what it is. There's so many new games out there. Oh, Sandland, there's another one. I want to get Sandland so bad,
Yeah.
but I have to watch it. And you know what? I'm kind of cool with that. Because at the end of the day, my gameplay is going to be my gameplay, or a playthrough is going to be my playthrough. I'm going to do it how I do it. So I'm enjoying watching somebody else play it because I reasonably, responsibly shouldn't do that right now. I mean, I can afford it, but I don't want to. I have other important things that I need to do. So once I get to that point, cool, great. But time and all this other kind of other, we
Mm-hmm.
have to contextualize where we are in our society. And in order to eat, you have to work. But for how much they pay us, we have to work more than we normally would or should or want to. And then that leaves time away from the things that we would like to do. Self relief.
Well, yeah, actually, that's very poignant that you mentioned that because doing my studies here, another Variety article actually is nearly half of video game players say creation and self expression are their main reasons for gaming, as what a new study finds. Now, stress relief is like absolutely, the number one. But to me, we are seeing like a new generation, obviously. But like you're saying, like me, you, we got to work. We got significant others, families. Time is a factor. Money is a factor. We can't. If I buy one game, I'm like you. I'm on that shit for at least half a year, at least a half a
Right.
year. Um, but with the new generation, and this is something that I think does contribute is when me and you were kids and we wanted a video game, we had to find some way to earn or get $50 to $60 out of one of our parents or grandparents in order to buy a game. And with my children, or specifically my 15-year-old, him and his friends all gravitate toward the free shit, the free battle
Yeah,
royale.
our kids
So
too.
yeah, so I think, now don't get me wrong. Now, like I just said, these kids, because I think this is basically what it's saying, is these kids, they're coming up, this new generation, they want the self-expression, they want the creation, and that's why we're seeing games like Minecraft and Fortnite, and although they're free, they're making money off the fact that you have to pay for self-expression in those games. You have to pay for skins, like I always tell my son, and every now and then when I would play Fortnite with him, he's like, "Oh, Dad, you got no skin." I'm like, "I'm team no skin for life. Like I ain't
Yeah,
paying money for some
I'm not buying a
skin."
skin. You can
But they're
all
all
the way
about
down.
it. He's all about, like, "Dad, I got
All the
this."
way down is what you
Yeah,
can do because I ain't buying no skin.
not nan nunna. Like, is there
Uh-uh.
something to
I'm
enhance
gonna
my
be. I'm gonna be.
weaponry?
I'm gonna. What is it? I'm gonna be a Hispanic coal miner.
Right. Yeah, or the girl with the
I'm
ponytail,
gonna
the
be a
white girl.
female Hispanic coal miner until the day
Whatever.
I die.
Whatever is free. Yeah, right on. So, I think that has a lot to do with it as well. I think the pay for expression model, I mean, obviously, games like Minecraft and Fortnite, obviously, we got creme de la creme that are successful here. But yeah, I definitely, to me. But that's interesting though. That's interesting. I like a character creation like the next person. That was always something I loved in wrestling games or Madden. Like I love to create my own character. But outside of that, like I'm just thinking, my generation, I really do go for stress relief, and I want to go and discover your world. I don't want to make my own, you know. And obviously, the next generation is not. They want to make their own world. They want to be in the
Everything.
sandbox. Um.
I mean, so I'll get back to the article in a second, but
Mhm.
I was thinking about this in a couple of ways. Um, because um relief, stress relief, self relief, just letting your day debrief, escaping, as
Mhm.
some people like to say, is self expression. Like in the self expression is the stress and self relief to me. So I think 100% of people who play games are trying to release stress, or escape, if you will. And then some, but what is happening is more people are wanting to play games where there is creation, where there is
Mhm.
imagination, where there is self-expression, to then relieve that stress. But um nitpicking, I
Sure.
say all that to say that when it comes to the kids, um I I don't hate on them. I try to. So our daughters, are any of your kids in the Toca Boca?
If so, I don't know about it, but no,
You
it's
don't know
mainly
about Toca Boca?
Bluey and Sniper Wolf, and of course, Veda's now on an X-Men kick, so that's fun because we're watching that
Okay,
together.
okay.
But
So
no.
so Toca Boca is like a it's so let me back up. They
Mhm.
What they call role playing games are literally like playing roles. So, like GTA role play. Like that's what they consider role playing games. So they don't JRPGs, tabletop type stuff, they don't
Yeah.
view that as role playing games. So when they say role playing games, they mean I'm going to be a doctor today and I'm going to make sure that I save as many patients, and I'm going to stay in character even though we're playing a game that the characters are stickers, kind
Yeah.
of, in like a that kind of free, like the world is free, your characters look like stickers and you move your stickers in this world. So I remember back in the day when I was a kid, like the Polly Pockets,
Yeah.
So imagine Polly Pocket but with stickers.
Okay.
That's Toca Boca. You can change your all your stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So um the only reason why like I would question them about anything is I want to make sure that they're safe. You know what I mean? They play Roblox
Mhm.
and stuff too. And they're so my one daughter's level of role playing skill is like, or I should say, observational skills for her role playing
Mhm.
is top notch. Like
Nice.
she's 11 and oh, you're really paying attention. Like the way she would play doctor, they would do lawyer, like they didn't use the term affidavit, but like they she basically had the kids sign affidavits. Here, I need you to sign this in order to, you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
whoa, you be paying attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that then leads me to actually, let me back up one more second. Literally watching The Simpsons last night. I don't know what season, whatever. We just had it on. Um, the Simpsons were so Bart got in trouble because he was being a squeaker on like a shooter they're killing priests, slashing evil priests. I don't know, but he was
Oh,
f
I think
bombing
I
whatever.
right.
And Marge was like, "No, we're not going to do that." So they got him into like a Roblox type game, and then he basically became like a Roblox mafia gangster or whatever with
Yeah.
the principal. But I say all that to say that the Simpsons were playing in the game, and Maggie was able to communicate via emojis. So the parents could talk to the baby, and then the baby could play with them, and all this other kind of stuff like that. So we've been we still have people alive who dogged and tried to avoid and tried to keep their kids away from all this emerging technology,
Mhm.
when ultimately at the end of the day we can be using these things to come together. We can be using these things to play games. We can be using these things to stay in the world. I know that you probably aren't interested in the graphics of Roblox, but if you played with your kids, they probably, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Would be able you'd be able to reach them in a different type of way. I'm probably sure there's something in Roblox that you would enjoy that's more adult themed and all this other kind of stuff like that. So, as much as a lot of people want to knock on these kids, and I don't enjoy Fortnite, but I'm not gonna knock it. Like, play your game, do your thing, bro. Like that's
Yeah.
it's your time. My thing was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, baby. You know what I'm saying? That was my thing. Play that thing all night, but I can't do that no more. This shit is boring. Your Call of Duty now is Fortnite. Your Call of
Yeah.
Duty now is Minecraft. Your Call of Duty now is Roblox. And as long as and the other part about it is because they're so social, us as parents should be more involved and at least have a character for ourselves to monitor what the kids are doing, to maybe self-express ourselves. You know what I mean? Oh, this is what I
Mhm.
look like. Hey, I'm your dad. I'm in here too. I got a mohawk or whatever it is. So
See
I don't know. I think I looked at this a couple of different ways, and I think that this article is great because it shows how a lot of different people are reacting to the technology that we have. But then at the same time, I think what's trying to it sounds like uh like at the end when they're talking about the percentages, right? So 80% of respondents feeling their gaming identity differs from their real life identity. I mean, that's like second life. Like, yes, of course. However, half the respondents claim that they prefer to be like their in-game personality in real life, and 72% would feel more favorably towards brands that help them achieve this. So probably like Oculus type shit. But so
yeah.
that part right there spoke out to me that I could see somebody who is a curmudgeon, like, oh, people just want to be fake now. The people don't even want to live in the real world and work and da 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 da. No, people live in the real world and work and fucking hate it so much that they want to
Right.
be their in-game personality.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to tell you. And so in conjunction with the last thing we were talking about, if you have the ability to create a game within a game, you have the ability to create a system within your society that works for everybody. And so we are about to be in an election year, or we are in an election year, and the shit's looking real grim. So why are we playing the game that these people want us to play when we truly want to play a different game? We all want to play a different game. So play it. You're playing it on your computer, so play it in real life too. If you're the one game where it was like um a system. I can't remember what game it was. And then communism worked so good that they had to like change it. What game was that?
I don't know. You got me. Like
I can't remember
the
what game
older
it was, but it
game.
was no. It was something that we talked about on when we had the other crew. It was a game came out not too long ago. It was like a civilization type game where you get to control like this, that, and the third. I can't remember what it was called,
Yeah.
but socialism and communism worked so well in the game by
Sounds like
accident that they
yeah,
had to patch it to make it not work so well. You see what I'm saying? And so this
yeah.
is what I'm saying. You're able to do it in your bullshit and make it
Right.
work so well that the creators of the game are like,
They had to
whoa.
patch it.
We don't want to give off the wrong idea. You know what I mean? That I'm not saying that we necessarily have to do that. I mean, that has theory and practice and praxis and all this stuff. So it's a
Yeah.
good foundation. But what I'm saying is that like we have the ability to do things that help everyone, and that's what we do in the game for the most part. It's it's even how they program the game. It's so hard to play the game like a shitty person. Even when the game is programmed to be able to play it like a shitty person, it still don't work right. We don't want to play games that way. It's terrible. It's not even fun. So if we don't want to do that in virtual life, and now we want to be in virtual life more than ever, why don't we take the virtual things and put them in real life? That you want brands to do that for you. You can also do that for yourself. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that, but it all just kind of came together.
Sure. Well, no, I mean there's something to be said about that. I know, and this isn't even a great thing to admit. There's a couple of great things, maybe not so great things. I'm going to admit here. A is you talk about make a character with your kids. Um, Listen, I'm the type of parent that once my children establish that they understand um real life from fake life, that's when I'm like, okay, I know Worst Parent of the Year award incoming. Okay, let's go ahead and play some Grand Theft Auto 5 together, son. Let's have some um
I mean,
but
that doesn't make you a bad parent. Do they understand the difference?
right. I mean, yeah. I mean and
If they understand the difference, it sounds like a good parent to me.
so we have fun, it's a
Right.
fun coordinating with your son on heist and shit like that. But that I can see why that game is so popular now that I read about this whole self-expression, because there's a whole shit ton of self-expression
Right.
that you can do with Grand Theft Auto. Hence why bringing it back, the next Grand Theft Auto is going to cost $1 billion to make. um but
Been
again,
making
the
that shit for like 15 years. It's like the Final
yeah.
Fantasy 15 of Grand Theft Autos.
Right. Well, I could see why, because they add shit to that game all the time and they're making a whole lot of money.
Yeah,
You can do any, I mean, they can do any type of game with like the Grand Theft Auto engine, and they do. They do all sorts of wacky shit. It's just like Roblox, I guess, just not, with the Lego looking characters. Um,
right.
but very much reminiscent of. So, but yeah, hell of a development cost for the next one coming, which, in my studies here about our main topic here, as far as, why the hell are we laying so many people off of an industry that's, obviously still very irrelevant popular. But yeah, these development costs, are crazy. Um, and outside of that, and I guess this is more of a technical thing, but with the economy the way it is, and interest being high, these companies that are struggling and laying off, they have less options as far as like getting capital from loans and stuff, because of the interest rate. It's just not going to work out for their revenue and overall profit as a whole. Um, so yeah, I definitely think that it's sad to say, but they are going to have to market more toward the kids, more toward the self-expression, because me and you, we're buying, I don't know, one, two, maybe three games a year, and that's it. The only time we're playing Roblox or anything is with the kiddos.
Right.
But the majority of gamers, the
I tried
majority of
Trove.
populace, sure,
Trove is one I could do. I could do Trove.
Trove.
It looks like Minecraft, but plays like WoW. No, I wouldn't even say WoW. Plays like I don't know. It's an action RPG. It's an action MMORPG, but Minecraft looking. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh,
Are you
okay,
familiar with
yeah.
Trove?
No, that's you saying that's the first I've heard of it. But
I think I'm a, I think I'm
I
gonna
like
try to create like a Trove. That yeah, that gives me an idea because I want. I appreciate the self-expression and the creation and the innovation and the imagination. Ultimately, I want to play with my kids, so I gotta play something that we all can play
yeah.
and that I'm going to want to at least master or kind of be good at. An action RPG that looks like Roblox and Minecraft would be perfect because Roblox, I, I, I get it. Can't do it. Same thing with Minecraft. I've tried it,
Yeah.
and it was funny because I didn't really get it at first. So my friend was like, "Yeah, you got to get some diamonds. You get diamonds, you're on your way." So I finally got diamonds. I'm like, "I got diamonds!" Like, then what? And he was like, "You got diamonds now. Like, build with it." And I'm like, "I'm not playing this shit no more. I
Yeah.
didn't took all this time to get some diamonds. I don't got it. Don't accomplish nothing." But I get it. And there's other things I like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is Minecraft for in space
Yeah. I still gotta try
for
that out.
adults.
I've been
Right.
craving some sort of space starship. Although, okay, I can always log on to Knights of the Old Republic MMO, but which maybe
True.
I should.
True.
I do love that
But
game.
I mean, if you like crafting, if you like the materials gathering, you like
Yeah, that's
finding
where
out
they miss
new
me.
what the materials gathering, the
Yeah,
crafting and all
that's
that.
yeah. I'm not into. Yeah, I don't like
I
fetch
got you. For
quest
me,
or.
it's like so I'll put it to you like this. I've been doing at home training and I've been playing this merge game
All right.
and it's just cathartic. Like
Well,
I'm just sitting here
catharsis is
listening because
good.
I'm pretty well advanced for what we're doing at work right now in training. So I'm listening, but I'm
Yeah.
merging. And it's just like, oh, I need one more seed to make a sapling, and I can turn that sapling into a branch and put these two branches
Right.
together and make a tree. Oh, I need to make stone now. So now let me get this rock and let me, you see what I'm saying? Like, so I kind of get it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm trying to myself personally figure out ways to, kind of get out of my own way because I'll play Final Fantasy all day. I'll keep buying them over and over again. Final Fantasy, Borderlands. I'll just buy that shit over and over, over again. I got about so many consoles. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, the way the economy it goes, it makes sense to do the games the way these games are. You have very little upfront overhead because your base game is so basic that
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you spending? And then you're making money while everybody else is making money in the Roblox universe. Minecraft, in order to have skins or extra materials, this, that, and the third, you're making a couple bucks. Fortnite, we already know about the skins and the weapons and the
Mm-hmm.
blah blah blah. So, I mean, that seems to be the only real way because they spend $500 million on this game that's got this boring ass story and
Yeah.
terrible battle
Yeah.
mechanics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 10
Like,
people find out this game sucks. Now you didn't lost your investment. Meanwhile, you know, the guys who created a game in their on their iPhone making $1 billion. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm
yeah.
exaggerating, but
Well, but I get, but it's a good point because when we look at the movie industry, right? We look at how much money those movies cost, and then we look at like Godzilla minus one or the original Deadpool. These movies that you know they make a whole shitload of money, and their budget was like less than 50 million or 50 million,
right.
which is cheap. So definitely doing more with less, I think, is a very viable strategy. And particular with me, like one of my favorite games of all time is text based. Like you
Yeah.
literally press W to go up, and it
Yep.
tells you about the room, and I love it. So having ultra realistic balls
I
to
want to
the
play
wall
Mist again.
graphics, right? Like and I know that indies are now doing this. I now see a lot of like Metroidvanias and shit. Although Ori and the Blind Forest graphics are awesome, but that's another one you should. they're still not super high end graphics. So, I definitely think that as the industry, they need to find a way to bring down the cost of developing these games. And I think that having less of a graphical standard is, to be more like Minecraft, have this almost retro look to it. But if the gameplay is fun and people are able to express themselves, character create and do all this customization, they don't need it to be ultra realistic. People will enjoy that. Obviously, we see that with Roblox and Minecraft and all that shit, where you have these 16-bit looking characters, but, they're all blinged out or whatever, or, they all got fucking new gear or whatever. And the kids love it. So, but we got to get the development costs down. So I think, yeah, saying, hey, we don't need to be
There
quite
they
here.
there also needs to be I wouldn't say like a focus, but someone needs to make sure that there is a way to attain all of those things in game without having to spend any money. That's the other part that pisses me off about the shit, because you get to a certain point and then you can't do anything because you have to spend money. That's my issue with phone games. Like they get
Hmm.
to a point where you have to spend money. Like, listen,
Yeah.
I'll grind your dumb shit to do this for free, but give me the opportunity to do the shit for free, even if it takes 100 hours. Because then guess what? I played your game for 100 hours. Oh my god! So I mean,
Right.
it's like I mean, obviously they if everybody did that, they wouldn't make as much money, but you're probably losing a recurring base that may eventually spend a couple of bucks. You know what I mean? Like, if the game is good, especially the phone game is good, I'll get the battle pass or whatever.
Hmm.
One, because they make it where it's like if you level up and you see what you're missing, like I need that shit. I needed that shit. You know what I mean? But if the game is good, I'll buy your little gems. You know what I mean? And that's what the triple A's kind of have been missing out on. They've been, you know, the level design, the graphics, are so great, but I lose the plot in the second act.
Yeah.
Or the game mechanics are hard, or you did all these graphics but the camera sucks. Like it's just all these factors that you can have, where I think that we're at the point in game history where it's starting to have that circle, or maybe now we need to get back to having things be a little less, but the
Yeah.
imagination be a lot more.
Yeah.
And that's why, for the kids that, like to poo-poo the old school RPGs because, they're boring, or you gotta wait, or you press one button, da da da. Them shits are 10 times more imaginative than these button mashing, exciting RPGs. Don't get me wrong, Near Automata is great, but to me, it's like trying too hard. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the story and all that kind of stuff like that, but what I'm saying is trying too hard. Final
Yeah.
Fantasy IV was effortless. Well, it
Yeah.
wasn't effortless, but it comes off effortless. Final
Right on.
Fantasy IV was far from for effortless. The motherfuckers was struggling,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. They had context. They had faster deadlines.
Yeah.
Different limitations. This and the third. The limitations is what made the innovation. Now we have anything, and y'all make shit. So that's why a Roblox is blowing up. That's why a Minecraft is blowing up. Hades, um, Hollow Knight, um, those are the big ones that I can think of. I'm trying to branch out a little bit outside of the
Hmm.
the kitty stuff, but um, yeah, man, if you got a good game, it can look. I wouldn't even say like shit. I think those games look beautiful, but they don't need all the graphical fidelity in order to get the point across. You get the point across. You get the game mechanics. It gives us a little bit of nostalgia with a little bit of something, with a lot of bit of something new. You should take notice, Game World, and I hope that with this restructuring, we can maybe get that from the AAA style graphical
Yeah.
games, right? That'd be kind of cool. Um, but I don't know. That's just what I hope to I hope that if that if they adapt, it will allow us to adapt. But ultimately, if we keep getting beaten down by a system that is beating the companies down. Like the system is beating the companies down. That's why they have to restructure. It's because they can't make any profit because they got so big and
Yeah.
everybody's got work and we got no time. So now we can't make no money. So now they got to restructure. They're stuck in the system too.
Yep.
So if we do want a game industry to be as robust and uh 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 what's the word I'm looking for? Responsive to our wants and needs, they need currency for that. They need resources for that. But in order for them to have resources, we need resources because we need to buy the stuff that they had before to give the resources to. Yeah.
And there is a lot of course, right now, particularly, there is a lot of inflation on important shit. I mean, again, you're coming, I'm married and with 3 children, so like food, um, wood, that I got to buy
Rent,
to replace my
rent
my
or
desk.
mortgage.
Well, that's what, I don't even want to talk about this because I feel bad. I got lucky. I bought my house like right at 2016, where like interest rates were like 2% and stuff.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, like I have a 1900 square house in a pretty good city for like 850 a month. And I
Hey,
see these
you got
poor
it.
people. I see these
You
poor
got
people
it.
renting places.
I'm not doing it. I mean,
Um,
I gotta rent, but I'm not. And that's the other thing that's so stupid. So that to my point, to buy a house, I'm gonna get fucked for 50 years.
yeah.
To rent, I'm gonna get fucked every day for the rest of my life, but it's easier.
You got that right, because I'm not. Unfortunately, the flood I had forced me to become a fucking handyman, so now I'm pretty fucking
Right,
handy. But before that,
right,
believe me, I never wanted to buy a house. I'm not a handyman. But when
right.
Mara came and we only lived in a 2-bedroom duplex, and then I saw what they were charging people for rent, I was like, okay, let me just see what a
Let's
mortgage is
see.
like. And I was like,
Right,
oh, this is way less. Okay,
right.
I guess I got to do this. Um, so anywho,
But for everybody else, we got to do that and figure out a way to buy Super Mario
yeah,
RPG and then not have time to play that motherfucker.
right. Right on. Yeah, I know,
We're
man.
all struggling.
I bought
So,
Rebirth.
but and that's the way like I was taking both of the articles. I was trying to look at it in
Yeah,
different ways. And I could definitely see it from like a oh, like everybody's getting laid off. What are we gonna do? Um,
it's a correction
but then
though.
at the same time, they need to restructure, and hopefully,
Yeah,
what comes out of that restructure is content that we want to. Then we can reinvest into them, and then they can grow and blah blah blah. It's ebbs and flow.
yeah. I mean, because it's out there, man. I mean, quality games. We already talked about Nintendo, so I mean, again, put point your compass toward Nintendo. But Baldur's Gate 3, the Spider-Man stuff, like there's still really good shit out there. That's AAA that looks great. So you know, use those examples, but there's still plenty of other examples where we can go with a more retro look. I mean, Chrono Trigger. I mean, it looks beautiful, but it's still a
Oh yeah, that shit holds up.
old game, right? But
Holds up.
people are buying it. I know we live in a world with Steam. We're like, oh, we get all these games just right on our computer. Like,
Right.
they'll figure it out. It's a correction. I'm with you. I know I'm dubbing it like, Video Game Crash 2.0, but that is being a little bit satirical. Again, no companies are actually going bankrupt here. We're just doing a correction, I think. Absolutely. I'm with you on that. Um, I guess one before we go, just one last news thing, switching from, video games over to Marvel and particularly the MCU. It does look like that basically what Disney slash Marvel is going to do is all their movies are going to be, the MCU. Their TV shows are going to be like a Marvel TV show universe, and then their animated universe. So, they're officially separating, because right now particularly the shows and the movies, there's a lot of intermingling. If you didn't see this show, you might not understand this part of this movie. But they're getting away from that. They're getting away from, hey, you don't have to watch everything in order to watch this one thing. um which I mean, I never took too offense to that because to me it was like, well, you've got Disney Plus anyway. Um, so I never felt any type of way about it, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on, officially kind of separating the cinematic from the TV from the animation?
I think that they are either they Marvel is marketing this very weird, or how they're leaking it to the press, and the press is wording it weird because it doesn't. It's I don't think it's clear what is actually happening. To me, what it sounds like, based off of what I read, is that they want to have shows that have the Marvel uh characters,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not necessarily like Iron Man, but like Marvel characters, and then have shows that are like in the Marvel universe because they're Marvel characters, but like don't mean anything as far as the implications in the multiverse saga or whatever. Um, Fine. like
Okay.
like I said, it's just worded weird.
Yeah.
For the people who do not want to go back and watch the old stuff, I don't think that you get to dictate what the new stuff is then. Like, shut the fuck up. Who are you? It's it's
Right.
it's 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 kind of the same thing like with all these new basketball fans. Bitch, you've been watching basketball since March. Shut up. Like there's levels to this, there's strategy, there's 100+ years of history that you have not been keyed up on. Stop talking to me
Right.
about fouls. You don't understand what a foul is. Um, so it's kind of like that. Like, how are you gonna tell us who've been paying attention to this since 2008 that we can't have the cohesive narrative because you don't want to go back and move your Disney Plus uh, cursor 10 movies back? No, actually, it's in fucking chronological order for you. It just popped up in my
Yes.
head. So it's just laziness to me. It's also kind of the same thing with like, and I don't try to judge people on this, but especially in the age of streaming, for some people to have not seen some old movies, you're just being like ageist at this point. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I go back and I watch like the most random shit because these were movies of the time, and some of them made a lot of money or the blockbusters of the day. Da 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 da. Pop culture references may have great, plots and themes and characters and things such as that. So what's wrong with going back and watching the old stuff? So I do that sometimes. But then, like, I ask some people, like, "Hey, have you ever seen Old School? You remember Old School with
Yeah.
Will
Will
Ferrell
Ferrell.
and
Yeah.
and yeah? What's that? You seen Old School? Like I went back to 2000 and like six.
That's
like,
funny. I
oh
saw
my
that in
god.
the
And I
theater.
understand that like in 2000, that's like what 80s movies were, kind
Yeah.
of. But like 80s movies were pretty good. Like I thought we all kind of agreed 80 movies were well, all right. We had to really suspend your relief and really believe in the Americana in order for 80s movies to work. But like if you do
Right.
that, they work. You know what I mean? So I don't know. The way that it's being put out in the media is really weird to me because I don't understand the point that they're trying to make. But then at the same time, if Marvel wants to tell their stories but not be connected to the multiverse saga, I mean they've kind of done that already with um the monsters one. What was that shit? The black and white one.
Uh Werewolf by
The
Night or
the
some shit.
werewolf man or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck it was. Yeah. They did that. Um
Which
for the moment
honestly, I didn't hear
For
good
the
things
moment,
about.
Moon Knight is not connected. I mean, it is, but it's not to what? Because they had the Ramatut thing. It's
Yeah.
not connected to anything for real.
Mm-mm.
Um, Not yet. It will be, but it's not. And so, going back to what Marvel was in the first place, neither were they until like Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
They weren't doing that. So the only reason why you had to go back is because y'all enjoyed the first 5 things that they put out. They're like, oh, let's put all this together.
Right.
I don't know. It's just. I don't I just I don't know, man. I wanna meet people where they are, but, like, at least do some fucking work. Why I gotta come 100% to you? Like, I'll come 40%,
Yeah.
I'll do 60% of the work. I'll watch all the movies and understand the plot and all that, and you just get through the Infinity Saga and let me do all the rest of the heavy lifting. Is that cool? No? Okay, well then don't fucking tell me what my shows are supposed to look like then if you ain't been watching for the last 15 years, like
I know you
but
gotta watch out though. They might call that gatekeeping though, you know? That's just my
but it's
hell.
not. It's a
It
story.
It's so funny though. You mentioned, watching people with basketball. Watching basketball with people that like just started watching it. I experience that a lot. When I watch football. When like when a lineman gets a penalty because they're holding, and I'm with the people
Oh,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
no, he didn't hold it. I'm like, no, clearly he's grabbed the
Yeah,
jersey, and on
he's
offense you
grabbing him.
can't use your hands like that. You can't open your
Don't
hands
be
on
that
offense like
emotional.
like,
Right.
or they get a downfield block penalty. I'm like, and they're like, oh, that's fucking stupid. That's not a penalty? I'm like, yeah, the lineman literally blocked that dude
Right.
6 yards down, and
And
during the
it's like
pass
it's
play, they
not like
can't
I'm
do
trying to
that.
burst your bubble, but you're just not correct. You don't
Yeah.
know why they're moving this way. And if you don't, like so it's one of those things where especially with the comic book stuff, right? So for us, you specifically when it comes to the comic book stuff,
Hmm.
um you this was like your whole life. You know what I mean? And so like now everybody wants to get involved and like cool. Great. Just get some context. It's really not that tough. When I uh 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 knew that Manchester City was going to be my soccer team, I don't live in Britain. I don't have any connection to Manchester. The only reason why I like Manchester City is because that was the team that I was able to actually finally kind of beat people at in FIFA.
All right.
In FIFA 12, I was getting my ass kicked 75-2, and then, I would play with Man City, and all of a sudden I'm winning,
Went off.
1-0 or something like that. So they became my team. Made up a reason why they're my team. Have no connection to the team. So you know what I did? I watched like 10 fucking Manchester City history videos so I can understand what the fuck I'm cheering for, what this team's gone through, what these fans have gone through. So when I say go blue, I'm not some fair weather just talking shit. Like I understand what this team had to go through to get to where they're at today, where they recently just won the championship again. First team in British Premier League history to win 4 league championships in a row. This is a team that hadn't won shit in almost 100 years, and now they're one of the best teams in the world. So, what am I, fair weather? No, I've been following them since 2012, and I've read, oh, not read because I need to buy one, but I've watched so many Manchester history videos that like I feel like I'm part of the squad.
Yeah.
Now, how much did it take? Did it take some time? Yes, it took some time. Took some time, took some energy, but now I'm a little bit knowledgeable of what's going down. And even I didn't have to do that much, but even doing half of that is at least doing some due diligence
Yeah.
about something that you follow. So I'm not saying that they can't have their runaway spin-off shows. What I'm saying is that I think that if Marvel is, and this is what I don't understand about the how this came out. If Marvel is so worried about the fans who complain about not having to watch everything to watch a show that they need new shows, just make new shows and don't ever bring that shit up because who cares? I don't I do they are not big enough of the fan base. They cannot be that big. If you were making billions of dollars without them, I don't think that it matters how much they know now. So yes, make your shows for them, but that's also going to be for us too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just really weird how it's worded, and ultimately, people need to stop being lazy. That's just really stupid to me. Y'all, eh, I use this example, and not everybody listens to Rush Limbaugh every day, but I know enough older people who listen to Rush Limbaugh every fucking day. 3 hours of rancid bullshit every day. You can't watch your favorite show that has a cohesive story? Okay. I, well, I don't. I'm lost. You lost me. So
Yeah, some of that
give me
dude's
some new shows,
parodies are
but
pretty
keep my
cringe.
story going, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I know what you mean there. I mean, as somebody as a lifelong comic fan, who basically got picked on, just had lived that life, and yeah, now it's all cool. Oh, I was called a devil worshiper back in the day because I played D&D, but now everybody, oh, D&D, D&D.
Right.
But yeah, you gotta let go, and you
Okay,
gotta
because
just
they look like
embrace.
D&D. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah. Oh, do you like the Big Bang Theory? No, I've never seen it. Um, Oh, well, they play D and like, okay, that's got nothing to fucking do with me. Anyway.
Right, has nothing to do with the D&D. Oh, man.
um,
It's just funny, and
yeah,
then even with that, so that's another thing that pisses me off, is, like, let's be realistic. I didn't really watch The Big Bang Theory because the shit looked really stupid to me from the get-go. I was like, "What the fuck is this? I ain't watching this shit." I mean, Kelly Coco or whatever her fucking name is hot, but, like,
yeah,
ew, no. Um, that was even a bastardization of us nerds. Like, those just
yes,
gross stereotypes upon gross stereotypes. Like, that's not even how nerd fandoms work, move.
no,
I don't know anybody like that, and I'm really nerdy. Like, I know really nerdy people, like, I'm well-versed, diverse in my friends,
yeah,
and we don't act like that. I don't know nobody who's ever act like that.
yeah. No, I'm with you. Like I've had plenty of nerd because I did watch the show, but I'll give you context around why I watched it because obviously, as you can tell, I'm not impressed. But I was going through a separation from my first wife. And I basically went to work, came home, took care of the kids, fed them, bathed them, got them to bed, and then I started drinking Jack Daniels and chasing it with Budweiser beer and watching TBS. And they were playing Big Bang Theory all night. So I'd literally just
On
fucking
the
sit
repeat.
there and
Yep.
watch it. Yeah. And just
Yep.
whatever until. So,
So
anywho,
that wasn't even like you were like, I like the plot of this.
right, right. No, I was just it was there. Yeah, and you said and Penny or whatever her real name is, she was hot. But yeah, the most unrealistic stories whatsoever about nerds. Like I've been in nerdy groups and we just we don't live like that. We're not all like, oh well, Wednesday's Halo night and Thursday we're all gonna eat
Right.
Chinese and oh we're all physicists and like no. We're
I
all
mean, even the
physicists.
physicists don't even act like that. Like, the
Yeah.
fuck?
Um but anywho, not sure
Physicists are
how we
cool as fuck, actually.
yeah.
Man, I love physics. Man, I be listening. I've been watching Star Talk a lot lately, bro.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Man,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
of them
yeah.
are just so awesome. I mean, and a bunch of other different lectures and stuff
I
like that. I
liked
got a nice
how
little commute.
Neil deGrasse Tyson explained like he saw Star Wars The Force Awakens in the Star Killer base. And then, he's like, oh man, and this thing killed like 7 planets because it captured the energy of the sun. And he's like, so I just for fun, I did the calculation. And he's like, yeah, they grossly underpowered that weapon. Since it was able to harness the sun, it could have killed like 100 planets at once.
Right, right.
So yeah, I love that shit too. I love this that Star Talk and all
They're so
sorts of shit.
cool.
Um,
They may not have six pack abs and whatever, but they do more for society than the rest of them other motherfuckers.
yeah, true. That is very, very true. But yeah, you're right. As far as this whole thing, it is kind of weird. It doesn't seem like it's an official announcement or anything. And Hey, yeah, but it's what they're going to do, man, because they do the same thing in comics. Like, as far as people that complain about the content that are in comics and stuff like that, those aren't people going to get their Wednesday pools every week. It's just not. So unfortunately, but they do. They cater to the non-existent new, class of
Makes
people
no
that
sense.
they want
And
to
then
bring in.
they wonder why everybody thinks that the story sucks and all this other stuff. Like, because you
Yeah,
keep playing to the worst factor. Like, stop. You didn't woke up the nerds and even got some, I guess non-nerds into it,
yeah,
and you made billions of dollars. So, I mean, adjust like the other corporations when you need to, but as far as like your content, there it's fine. It's fine.
hmm
And Disney Plus, I kind of poo-pooed it when it first came out, but like that's where all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff was, so that's kind of where I had to go.
yep,
I actually am impressed with the app. I probably use that way more than Netflix now.
yeah,
And now
same.
that they have Hulu and ESPN, I can literally watch sports and the other TV shows on there too. Um, it's in chronological order, dude. I don't understand. It's in chronological order. It's superhero highlight. They got all the other TV shows and the other animation, like all like I just don't like whoever scared them enough to make the media think that this is how they're moving. Um, they're not that powerful, Marvel. Relax, chill out.
And certainly, I hope they keep ignoring the Star Wars haters online, particularly with it. This fucking Acolyte show looks like it's going to be freaking awesome. I just cannot
Yeah,
wait.
I'm unless you make me, I'm this is one of them ones where I don't want no shit. I want this to
Yeah,
hit me. But I mean, if obviously if we need to discuss something, let's discuss it. But like
right.
I want it to hit me hard because I think it will.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with a black female lead. I don't give a fuck who is in the
Dude,
lead.
they
It's the
are
Star Wars universe.
complaining about lightsaber whips at this point.
Lightsaber whips? What do you
Like
mean?
there's a light on the latest trailer, they've shown that one of these Jedi uses a lightsaber whip,
Oh,
and
and they don't
people
like
are
that?
just complaining all about it, like how's that supposed to work against a lightsaber, what are the physics of that? And just like you were saying, if you actually do a little bit of homework, the light the physics of it are explained, how you're able to turn a light saber into a light whip. You're able to adjust something that'll let it kind of act as a whip. So it's already there. It's already canon. Um, but at the end of the day, like, you're talking about a universe that has space wizards, death rays, gravity in space. Like, that's dumb for you to complain about physics of a universe. It's just when you're okay with the space
So
wizards, we're okay with the Wookiees and the Huts and all
I
that.
really think I really think outside of the content creators where they show their face and say the dumb shit, I think that there is a lot less actual people saying these things than bots.
Yeah, I hope
I
so.
think it's bots. It's
K-
like I've been trying to figure out where a lot of this dumb shit is coming from because there's no fucking way some people believe some of this shit, bro. There's no way. It's not possible. I can't believe that. I don't know. And then I do
Yeah.
talk to some people and they're really stupid. So
So it
I'm
starts
trying
to
to give people
become
the benefit of the
clear.
doubt. Come on, please help me, people.
I know, I'm right there
I
with
know you're
you.
not as dumb as y'all come out to be sometimes. I'm trying to say that this dumb shit is bots. Please prove me wrong. I mean, prove me right.
Right on. All right. Well, listen, good shit. So yeah, just some new stuff there, stuff goings on in the nerd world, video game layoffs and Marvel separating its various content delivery, I guess. But yeah, Disney Plus is awesome. And speaking of Acolyte, obviously we're going to be talking about that. That's coming in 2 weeks. Next week, I should have a guest, JD Oliva. He's an author. He's got a new book coming out. He's a podcaster. I actually um, I just ended up getting one of his jobs actually. He has asked for he's on Superhero Speak. He's one of the hosts of Superhero Speak, and he's just busy with a lot of stuff, and so he's kind of asked for like a little leave of absence from them. So he's no longer going to be on there, at least on a regular basis. I'm taking his slot. So for those of you interested, Superhero Speak is actually live on YouTube every Sunday, and I've been on there talking X-Men,
Yeah.
but I'll be on there a lot more. We're actually gonna review Furiosa, which I'm not looking forward to. I
Yeah.
know I've told you, Jay, I just don't like. I'm not a big fan of the dystopian Earth future. I just
And Charlize Theron's character wasn't that interesting to
wasn't that
like a
interesting. So okay,
whole
great.
yeah. I didn't.
That doesn't bode well. Okay. Well, that's
Thanks,
how us.
Hollywood. Appreciate it. Yay.
Yeah. But hey,
But you
you'll
guys
hear
are
it.
great though. So I mean, I probably will uh learn enough from them to
Yeah.
get my fill because you guys are pretty cool.
But hey, yeah, so but hey, on this channel here though, we need those likes, we need those subscribes. We got to get past this hate algorithm. Please let us know down in the comments. Do you have any thoughts, or what do you think is mostly driving these layoffs? Are you in agreement with Jay and I, where we're okay? Yeah, looks pretty bad, but it's probably just a correction, and it's not really going to end up being a big thing. Let us know down in the comments. Also, let us know how you feel about Disney slash Marvel now making it so that you don't have to watch everything in order to watch, one piece of content. Are you like Jay? Do you really not appreciate that? Because let's face it, it's real easy to get caught up for a multitude of reasons. Or are you like maybe a newcomer who just doesn't want to worry about all this other continuity as they enjoy their new content? So let us know, please, down in the comments. That would help ever so much. But until next time, we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you've made it this far, please help us get past the hate algorithm. That's right. Make sure you make a comment, like this video, and subscribe to the channel to see our next videos. And here's one that you can click on right now if you want more of the Omega Level Nerds.